Good morning. I apologize, but man, I tell you, unbelievable. As far as me scheduling these live broadcasts has been a bit, but I want to personally thank everyone for chiming in today. So let's get started. I did a narrative about the lack of support for the veteran community, and I want to touch this on a Sunday. Just came out of the gym, but the other thing I just want to be able to reach out to a lot of people is that, hey, lately I've been talking to quite a few veterans and they've been going through some challenges. I've been sharing the same thing with them as well. So it's important that we reach out and have a conversation about a couple of things: veterans not being validated, veterans going through some alcoholistic challenges and drug addiction as well, and some domestic issues that have been pretty much brought to my attention. And on this beautiful Sunday morning here in Southern California, I want to be able to personally thank everyone who's been supporting me the past year. So if you like this content, share it, like it, tag it. This broadcast is brought to you by LinkedIn Perspective. It's also on the YouTube channel. And if you like it, subscribe on the YouTube channel, pretty much. So for most of us on this beautiful Sunday is more or less to touch on a couple of things. The situation with the veteran crisis is getting worse and worse and worse. I've been talking to quite a few buddies here lately, and I have one buddy. He's near and dear to my heart, and he's a promising guy, but he's having some PTSD issues. And then the biggest thing I want to be able to share with is that because of his issues, he's dealing with it on his own. So, but the biggest thing that I want to be able to share is that you're not alone. And for the most part is you need someone to have a sounding board to be able to get a different perspective as well. So, this guy was very successful. He's still successful, but he's letting the demons take the best of him. So for myself, excuse me, I've been having some challenges as well, but I've been off site for a bit, but I want to be able to reach out to everyone on this Sunday and just share things from a different perspective to allow people to understand that, hey, if you have some challenges, reach out to people and have a conversation. The other thing that we're talking about is that, I'm gonna put myself out there. I put myself out there on the market for a number of reasons. I love myself enough to be able to test the market. But, I was watching 60 Minutes, and today's society is talking about, is a college degree worth it versus work-life experience? Is a college degree worth it and work-life experience? So, I put myself out there to test the market to be closer to home for a number of reasons, because I feel that it is important for the quality of life, and it's important for us as we get older to see if we're still marketable. And the other thing I want to be able to share with you is that I'm putting myself out there for a reason, because I want to be able to share that with you. So let me go there. Good morning. What's up, John? How are you? How's everything? What's up, JR? How's it going? And there are important reasons for the veterans to exist. And that's right, JR, we're going to be touching about that as well down the road. Good morning, Martin. How are you? And stand alone, fight alone, we stand. Awesome. And what's up, John? So I'm just reaching out here as well. The best thing we can do is build our network and let each other know each other, help each other as well. And I agree. And that's why we're having a virtual town hall. If you like this segment, tag it, like it, and reach out to me. 0 college credits for military experience, and law by school doesn't comply here in California. I agree. So let's talk about that. What do you feel as far as, is education more important than work-life experience? So with myself, I'm putting myself on the market, and I'm pretty much, people like, hey, you have great experience, you have this, but do you have a college degree, right? And I've been able to explain to them and do that, but I have like 30-something years of work-life experience. So how does that return investment come into you if you're a veteran, right? And people say, I want to hire veterans. So this is the challenge that a lot of people don't understand. we put ourselves out there, then we reach out there for a number of reasons because we know we can do the job. But at the same time, people are prejudging because we lack the education versus the work-life experience. Those are triggers for a lot of us veterans because we bust our ass to be able to be successful. But when it comes to the hiring manager or somebody that's vetting you out as a recruiter, it's important that they understand your work-life experience. And the other thing is that while we're reinventing ourselves, we're having challenges, not only with ourselves dealing with the demons, but at the same time, we're dealing with situations at home and work-life balance, He said, every job I've applied for is a fancy piece of paper hanging on the wall. I mean, a lot of folks lack common sense. That's correct. And ability to perform. That is true. And that's why we're having this conversation, because it's important. Unfortunately, we have both. I've done pretty good in experience with just an AA. Well, thank you. And I think that this should be something that we should all discuss because the change of work environment is important. Good morning. Good afternoon, Jeffrey. How are you? Marie, how are you? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about those scenarios of hiring practices, right? So with today's society of hiring practices as well, how do veterans, succeed? How do they overcome that? Because they only know what they know from the military. There's no exit plan to be able to create a resume. There's no exit plan to be able to educate them to change the love language to be able to be hired. And the other thing is that, that's why I'm talking about more or less that we're not being validated or being appreciated in society, especially the veteran community. Guys are having trouble, holding a job, having PTSD issues, having, a lot of issues relating to civilians, and understanding that they can be very marketable, but at the same time, they're not being respected. And the biggest thing that I can honestly tell you as I put myself on the market is I feel it as well. And I think that the most important thing we need to understand is you as the professional should see it from the outside looking in. Hiring managers and recruiters who are out there looking at it, you should really pay attention to this as well. Give me 65% of street smart versus 35% book smart every day. Exactly. And that's why we're looking at it from another reason. Hello, Marie. How are you? What's going on? How are you? So the biggest thing that I can honestly tell you is this, right? We're having a lot of challenges for a number of reasons. And, I got an issue with one dude right now, and I'm not going to say anything. Graduates from West Point, never had a career, but comes to the government, he's going to tell me how to do, or I suck as an employee, right? So how are you going to tell me, and I'm half your age, that you suck as an employee when I have over 30 years of work-life experience and I'm a combat veteran? How do you explain the public? Explain to me that if you're in that situation when you've gone to a work environment and somebody that's younger than you has a different perception, but they think that you suck as an employee, but they don't know your walk in life. So let me look at this, right? As a young staff sergeant, I had a brigade commander tell me, just remember, education doesn't always equal intelligence. That is correct. And that's why we're having this discussion. And it's important to understand that. Sure. I think helping each other with resumes and finding jobs that would be helpful. Some don't want to be on a computer all day. If they inbox me on LinkedIn, I can assist them. Okay, well, good. And I appreciate it, Cheryl. And that's important. And I think that we've been so accustomed to using social media as far as interacting with people that we forgot to personally interact and have that engagement and collaboration. Let me see what I got here. See some LinkedIn publications are laws of CCC and CSU ignore. Money drives it all. And this is correct. And let's talk about, return investment. We're talking about the veterans, and let's talk about successful people. Let's talk about people that are very successful. They're professionals. They've gone to school, but they're not marketable because, quote unquote, the status quo doesn't fit. The work environment has changed completely here in the last 2 years, going on 3. So everything that is social media driven is not a form of collaboration. Collaboration is pretty much engaging more or less with one in itself to be able to get a sense of working together, getting a feel of understanding each other. We can agree to disagree, but not disrespect each other as well. But the biggest thing I want to state is that, in today's society, as I'm applying for work as well to be changed the direction, and I'm just saying, don't say my resume sucks because you're just reading a piece of paper. But for the recruiters and the hiring managers that are watching this, they probably can learn something from this as well, from a different perspective, because you're making decisions in behalf of the company. So let me go over here real quick and say, I think helping each other, reasonable. Resumes, finding help, and some don't want to be in the computer. I read that one right here. James, what you got? See my LinkedIn publications. I read that. Jason, Veterans Rule, of course. Brett, my brother, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I think that we need to have this collaboration more often. Entrepreneurs, veterans who want to be entrepreneurs as well, you should be having this discussion, because there's a lot of us that don't want to be behind that computer all day. They don't. And I think that it's important to understand that, when you're interacting, we're in today's society, we're lacking that personal interaction, that type of collaboration to be able to understand what that person brings to the table. Getting back to my original conversation, right? I want to apologize because every time I put do the LinkedIn won't let me edit. LinkedIn won't let me edit the segment. Then I have to cancel it. But on today's this beautiful Sunday morning here in Southern California, with my two babies back there chilling out, they have no care in the world, but they are counting on me to provide a livelihood. That's what you say, unconditional love for these dogs, right? You have dogs for a reason. They make a difference. Now, what are you saying? We should all make worldwide connections with veterans, especially from the countries that are wearing NATO's. I agree. And that's so much we should understand that. So sorry, I must leave, guys, for 8 minutes to prepare for a change. Shift change 8, anytime, John. Just, you can look at the recording. If you like this content, share it, like it, tag it. This broadcast is brought to you by LinkedIn Perspective. It's more or less, to reach out to virtual town hall. If you want to be able to say your piece or text your information, reach me at 562-286-3111. That is 562-286-3111 on this beautiful Sunday morning, being easy like Sunday morning. But, I'm having a hard time supporting the veterans that are not getting the support that they're getting from the general public. And we're fighting a losing battle here. We're fighting a losing battle for a number of reasons. We're not part of the top of the food chain because we don't have the accolades and the I Love Me documentation. Trust me, you need certifications. I get that. But if you have so much work-life experience, how is it that the hiring manager cannot accept that if he's saying you're not a fit? Now, I'm not being bitter. I'm just making an observation. So let me see what Nathan got to say here. I'm a veteran, but as a veteran, I have to be relevant in the market, and I want to dominate. As veterans, we have to push like we are eating. Yeah, XYZ DOT. I'm not going to go in. Life is cruel. Suck it up, break it up. There you are. Why? I agree with you, my man. And that's why we're having this conversation. How you doing, Claire? How's it going? George, what's happening, brother? Hermano, thank you for speaking up for all the veterans. Well, yeah, I gotta take care of our own kind, brother. It's important that we, support our Puerto Rican culture, which I'm very proud of. But I need to be supportive of the veteran community because people don't get it, man. People don't really get it. You're busting your butt to do something. You're looking to be able to discharge, and you're looking to do something to bring some money to the table, right? Especially with today's economy. And today's economy, look, California right now, where I live at, and we're 70 miles away from Los Angeles. The gas is $6.50 a gallon. $6.50, $6.50 a gallon. Groceries, 2 bags of groceries is like $70. So that's why I'm changing my direction of everything else. Cheryl, that would be a tremendous gift. I would verbiage, necessary experience, express the experience that veterans have. It's very different from someone who doesn't have the military service choosing to correct language to convey those skills. It would be incredibly useful. Cheers for understanding and the challenges of upcoming and solutions to others. Well, I appreciate it, Marcy. Veterans Unite Party. I think that pretty much there's a lot of veterans on the social media platforms, especially here, that are prior service or still active duty. But the biggest thing I can tell you is that what constitutes a marketable veteran in today's workforce? What constitutes that? Are you looking for somebody that has all the paperwork, or are you looking for someone that has a valuable asset like integrity, honesty, and strong work ethic? Those are the things that I'm pretty much talking about today. But the biggest thing I want to be able to address is veterans having a hard time because they can't find work. What do? They escape. They start mentally checking out. They start doing drugs. They start drinking. They start smoking, right? They start thinking they're back in the military. And next thing you know, they don't have a place to live in. They've thrown their life away. And now it's a hard time for them to get any type of support, right? So I don't understand why we're not pulling together. And in today's economy, we're just dying, all right? JR, you're certified diesel. Trust me. Tim, gas and inflation are policy issues. Veterans Unite would yield to tremendous power if they come in politics and lobby. It is true. It takes a village to be a community. So I can understand that. John, oh my God, they're stealing from us guys the price of gas. Right. So for me, right, I got to be very honest with you because I'm currently the only one working. It's important to keep a roof over our head and sacrifice the things that we take for granted, right? Going out, driving, flying, everything else. And it sucks when you have to be able to put majority of your earnings into a vehicle because it's a necessity. And what does that do? It takes away, it puts you in a vulnerable state. So let me see what's happening here. How do you build your website? We'll let you go on that one, brother. Also, what's up, Michael? Also, there is some discriminations from employers that come from veterans, guards, and reserves. They don't understand what we have fully offered. And you're right, my man. You hit it right on the head, Michael. And this is important why we have to have this type of discussion, because I feel I'm not the only one alone. But to be able to put it out there in a professional manner, to be able to educate people, is to give us a kind of solace that helps them understand that, hey, we are all in this together. We have to change the direction. What is this? Peter, I don't know what it is, but it's a website, I take it. So I'll give it to you. All right. Thomas, what's going on? I'm a veteran as well-versed in topics. As a founder of my company, I understand the values of veterans that can be aligned their experience with both career opportunities from them to be benefit in the company. We anticipate the funds of scaling operations sometimes in the next 12 months. I want to show the world that the American veterans can accomplish what the American veterans can accomplish. Please save my contact and watch the anticipating announcements in the coming months. We still are speculative under funding, I take it. So, oh my God, I tell you, you get people that come in there, but again, veterans that are having suicidal thoughts when they're not been able to be hired. I'm getting a lot of that lately. And it's very sad because they tell me that their resume's out there, they're applying every time, they're doing what they can, but they're getting no bites. Or they like me. We're sorry that you weren't selected, but we wish you in your best endeavors. So this is a numbers game, ladies and gentlemen. Applying for jobs are just as important. It's a full-time job, but especially for the veterans that don't have that patience or that tenacity or that kind of support to help them get what they want and what they're worth, right? So in today's economy, in today's business world, a lot of corporations, they want to overpromise and underdeliver and undersell you, but at the same time, they're not looking for the projected investment of a veteran that is capable of outdoing someone that's more or less has gone to college. Now, mind you, education is just as important and certificates are just as important. But at the same time, when I'm looking at the websites and you're looking at, are you a veteran, protected veteran? That should tell you something that, okay, give us a shot. But at the same time, there are some forms of discrimination. And the other thing is that age should not be a factor at the same time. It should not be a factor for a number of reasons. If you're intelligent enough and you have the street smarts and you're capable of doing what needs to be done and reduce the learning curve, then you're marketable. So understand this, ladies and gentlemen, especially for the recruiters and the hiring managers that might see this. If you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. I have a YouTube channel as well. It's subscribed on YouTube. It's LinkedIn. So this is pretty much for the veterans community. We're not being supported as we normally are. Look, I respect the government, and there's a situation in Ukraine. They're getting $40 million, all this, and we understand what's dealing with Russia. I get it. But what's happening to the veteran community here, right? The people that want to be able to provide a lifestyle, work-life balance in today's economy. Things are just getting so out of touch and so expensive that how can people in today's job market sustain themselves from today's economies and the demands of the prices of gas, food, cost of living, everything else, healthcare? How does that happen? Then you wonder why veterans commit suicide, or you wonder why veterans are homeless, or you wonder why veterans don't want to engage with other people, because it's pretty hypocritical in the United States, where more or less is that, thank you for your service. And as I say that in a very respectable way, thank you for your service is very nice. It's nice, but it doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't pay the bills for nothing. And I believe that thank you for your service is like, hello, how you doing? Doesn't work for me anymore. So thank you for your service. Hey, well, thank you for your service. Hey, let's sit down and talk. Let's talk work. Let's see what you can do. What kind of marketable skills are you there? I believe it's a two-way conversation, right? Let's not just look at the resume so we can filter through the firewall so somebody can actually look at it for the next 10 seconds and say that person is marketable. That's what we're dealing with today's society. And I believe that for a lot of us, it's very frustrating. And so a lot of us have anxieties, they have depressions and everything else. And what happens? We're not being supported, So, hello, good night from Pakistan. Hey, good night. So Randy, what you got? At the end, veterans know what war is, politicians not so much. That's correct. And that's the biggest thing. Everybody wants to be a hero until it's time to do some hero crap, right? Some gangster crap. And a lot of people don't understand that veterans, man, they sacrifice a lot for this country. And a lot of people don't understand that we put up with a lot of crap and we see things totally different than the average American citizen that will never understand or comprehend until they join the military in a different branch of service, or that have been deployed or have been in enlistment, at least a 4-year enlistment, to understand the dynamics of how it's different between for-profit to the military. And then the transition state of how can I be marketable? Because I learned the trait in the military, but is it transferable into today's society? And the other thing is, how is it that our Americans here in our nation are so quick to pass judgment, but they're not willing to help a veteran to get a job? Now, let me put it to you this way. It's important that the veteran does he or she's due diligence to be able to get, the fruits of their labor. So, like they say, faith without works is dead. If you're not putting in the work, it's dead. So you can't play the veteran card and expect to be hired. You got to be able to put some skin in the game and reinvent yourself with some personal growth to be able to educate yourself to a point where people can see how much value you have and how much integrity. And if there's any personal growth, that's a return investment to any firm. So for me, I look at it this way, especially at this point in my life. With the economy and everything else, everything's getting screwed. We're getting screwed left and right. I feel it. I'm not ashamed to say it, but I feel it. So can you imagine a veteran that has no job, has no vehicle, that is constantly on social media applying for jobs just to get something to be accepted? What happened to that HR? Let me talk to you. Let me do this. Let me do that for you. And then we have nonprofit organizations. Like I got my buddy JR with the Veteran Ranch. We're going to be talking something in July and collaborate and everything else. But this is pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, collaboration to be able to bring something to this virtual town hall as well. So let me go there. Wow, I got somebody from Finland. Hey, thank you. And I respect you guys. You ain't taking no crap from Russia. So yeah, $5 in Indiana. Yep. Welcome to it. I agree with you. What's up? Nathan, to the point, we live in a we live in all volunteer military. Veterans in our community are high category, in my opinion. If you are a veteran, you bring pride to the title, be better. When I transitioned into civilians, flying, I was quickly learned that no one cares about your position. Once you held. Once you flew overseas, no one cares. The truth is they're intimidated by your experience in many cases. Point well taken, Nathan. Point well taken. That is correct. And that's exactly what I'm going through at this point, right? I agree with you 100%. A lot of people, they see you as a strong leader. You've developed the leadership skills and the traits in the military. But the biggest thing people don't understand is when you conduct yourself as an alpha dog around some beta followers, they feel kind of awkward because now they're seeing the vulnerability of who they are. So what they do, they pull a cancel culture on you, right? Now, it's more or less, it depends on the situation. But the biggest thing I can honestly tell you is this. How can we in society, especially in social media with platforms, excuse me, like LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, especially, where I've been taking some segments and putting in today's society, because even for myself, I have to be able to change the direction because society has changed their mindset. But the biggest thing I can honestly tell you is, again, at the start of the show, is that I talked about veterans not being supported and pretty much not being appreciated for who they are. And the biggest thing that I can honestly say is why are we doing Support 22? Veterans are still killing themselves. They're committing crimes. They're being homeless. They're looking for public assistance. There's a number of things that are going on, but you're not doing anything to help it. We can say that, but the biggest thing that I can honestly tell you is, how are we, going to be able to support people, especially the veteran communities that have these challenges of anxiety, of PTSD, depression, coping mechanisms, lack of coping mechanisms, and unable to educate themselves because they feel like they've been ostracized, pretty much. So Claire, thank you. So true. Okay. Marcy, let's see what you have. I ask myself those questions daily. If you have a job with 8.5% inflation without the 8.5 raise is your compensation. It's a train wreck that is in the making. Everyone is suffering, but I see a shift coming anytime soon. The middle class is almost obsolete, which is true, Marcy, seems to be the goal. I spent a great deal of educating my 16-year-old daughter about politics as a part of the graduation class of 2024. The next wave vote to vote at this year's election should be in the beginning. That's a well taken point for a mother and a professional. And I believe that for the most part, we have to be able to educate ourselves, because you know what? It's happening. The baby boomers, what are we doing? The baby boomers, for the most part, right? How are they going to survive? How are they going to survive with today's economy? So, Marcy, you hit a valid point, right? 8.5%. So the people that are in their 70s and 80s, how they're surviving? So do we cast them out? Do we treat them any differently than what's going on? So, for us, we got to be able to more or less understand that these are the situations that are happening on a daily basis. So I need to be able to be very candid with you as far as, and excuse me while I'm talking, because I lose contact on my cell phone here when I'm doing, because I'm looking at the comments as well. Let's talk about the veterans, right? Veteran families, right? The stressors of going on, of making ends meet. How is it that we cannot be supported, and how is it that we can't make ends meet in today's society? How is it that I have two veteran buddies of mine that are housing in the VA, right? Circumstances are different, but perfect normal guys, just having some challenges. But at the same time, what are we going to do to help that? And then you have people like myself that have made that tough transition into society, and more or less still, seeing the turn of events of inflation and everything else, and you got to make a change. And what is the job market looking? Are you looking for youthful experience, or are you looking for people that can really put some skin in the game and they can bring some value in a return investment? I mean, things have changed in the last 20 years, right? But the biggest thing I can honestly tell you is that with today's society, no wonder we're screwed up about a number of things, right? We're screwed up about not providing a support for our own American citizens. We're not providing anything as far as education is concerned. We're not providing anything to take care of the people here in the United States. As Marcy stated, 8.5% inflation. It's not going to go down, ladies and gentlemen. But the biggest thing I want to be able to share with you is this. It's important to understand that a lot of us have that challenges, and we need to be able to address it to a point. So I'm going to wrap this up here pretty much. So if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, if you like it, share it, tag it, like it, subscribe to LinkedIn Perspective on YouTube, and make your presence known. And if I'm all about the content, and I just want to be able to share that with you. So again, the conversation today was, we still having cancel culture with the veteran community here in the United States. And, social media might be great, but when it comes to job opportunities for the veterans and transitional changing careers, we're still getting screwed. So keep that in mind. Enjoy your Sunday, this beautiful Sunday morning. Be easy like Sunday morning, and understand that, appreciate everything that you have, and understand, like, I'll give you a good example. These two little dogs back here, they have no care in the world. They just give me unconditional love, and they know they're being fed, they're being taken care of, and that's all. But it's my responsibility to provide an income and to provide, a roof over my head, to make sure that these guys are well taken care of. How many people you've seen homeless that are having dogs? Dogs don't care. They just love their owner. They have unconditional love. And that's what we're lacking. Unconditional love for our humanity. So, think about it. So again, if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, share it, like it, tag it. More or less, the content is for pretty much everyone to see, and it's pretty much our community creating cancel culture for the veteran community when it comes to suicide, jobs, and support. So Simplify always beside you, and peace out.